London is a city of two faces. One face is draped in the majesty of Westminster and the gleaming glass of the Shard. The other face is hidden in the damp, gray alleyways of the East End, where the air smells of salt, diesel, and desperation. Elias Thorne was born into the latter. His father had been a docker who broke his back for a pittance, and his mother had worked 3 jobs just to keep the heaters running in their cramped flat. By the time Elias was 16, he realized that in London, you were either the hammer or the nail. He refused to be the nail. Unlike the hot-headed boys in his neighborhood who dreamt of being roadmen, Elias was a student of systems. He spent his afternoons in the local library, not reading fiction, but studying logistics, trade law, and history. He understood early on that true power wasn't about who could pull a trigger, it was about who owned the ground everyone stood on. By the age of 25, Elias had moved away from the street-level chaos. He had established a consultancy firm. On paper, he helped small businesses with security and supply chain management. In reality, he was the bridge between the legitimate and the illegitimate. He became known as the Ghost of the Thames. He never touched the product, he never carried a weapon, and he never raised his voice. He was the man who made things move. If a shipment was stuck at the docks, Elias made a phone call. If 2 gangs were at war and disrupting business, Elias sat them down. Violence is a tax on profit, Elias famously told a rival. Every bullet fired is money lost. Why die for a street corner when we can own the whole street? The peace Elias brokered lasted for 3 years until the Belfast Syndicate decided London was ripe for the taking. Led by a man named Malachy O'Shea, a man who loved the sound of explosions more than the sound of coins, the syndicate began a campaign of terror. They bombed Elias's warehouses. They intimidated his associates. They wanted a war. Elias's inner circle, led by his loyal childhood friend Julian, was restless. "We have to hit back, Elias," Julian urged, slamming a fist on the mahogany table in their South Bank penthouse. "They think we're soft because we wear suits." Elias looked out at the London Eye, its lights reflecting in his cold, gray eyes. "They want a war of noise, Julian. We will give them a war of silence." Elias invited Malachy to a neutral ground, a historic decommissioned lighthouse in Greenwich. Malachy arrived with 6 armed guards, laughing and mocking Elias's gentleman persona. "You're a bookkeeper, Thorne," Malachy